Hey everybody. The other day I did a video on the 10 best albums of 1971, and today, to mark their 50th anniversary, of course, today I'm going to do the 10 best movies of 1971. Again, these are my opinion. They're not written in stone. It's just the stuff that I like, so don't feel offended if I left your best film of 71 off the list. One honorable mention to start with, and that will be Fiddler on the Roof, which was nominated for Best Picture. It's just not my genre. I'm not a musical movie kind of guy, unless it's a concert video. But this is, a stage play taken to film. It's very well done. I'm going to give it an honorable mention. It's not in my top 10. So we're going to start at number 10, and that's the thriller Clute, starring Jane Fonda, Jane and Donald Sutherland. Jane won the Oscar for Best Actress. This is she plays a call girl. It's a thriller. There's a murder involved in the seedy area where Jane does her work, and the detectives are grilling her for information. So it eventually leads to a surprise ending. Number 9, Play Misty For Me. Clint Eastwood. He's a DJ in San Francisco, actually in the Monterey area. Beautiful scenery in Monterey. The shots are breathtaking. Clint directed this, his first movie as director. Stars in it. He's a DJ who is stalked by one of his callers. She finds out where she won't let him out of her grasp. It's a frightening movie. You can see her on the cover here. She's all over Clint. Won't let him breathe. Usually it's the woman that's being stalked by the guy. This is a flip-flop. So, number 9, Play Misty For Me. That was her request. The title of the track is, she would call up Clint and say, "Play Misty For Me." So, that's her. Number 8 is Panic in Needle Park. This is Al Pacino's first movie in 1971. This is about drug addiction. It's very gritty and it's shot on the streets of New York. This girl, Kitty Wynn, who I've never seen in any other movie, I don't believe. She's very effective here as Al's love interest. They're both addicts, both junkies. It's heartbreaking. It's a side of life that I never want to see, but it's so well done, it has to be included on my list. I just watched it the other night. Number 7, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, from Robert Altman, legendary director. And he's got 2 big stars here, Warren Beatty and Julie Christie, who I believe were an item at the time. This takes place in the Pacific Northwest. She's working in a bordello. He is a businessman, gambler type, and they cross paths up in this area. A lot of characters running through, typical of Altman, overlapping dialogue, the usual Robert Altman style. It's better than most of his films, so I guess it's because of where it was shot, but it's interesting. It's kind of offbeat, but it makes the list. Number 6 was the Best Picture winner that year, The French Connection, starring Gene Hackman, directed by William Friedkin. This is notorious for its chase scene under the subway, New York City, with Gene trying to catch the bad guy. Basically, the premise is the cops are busting up this narcotics ring that's come into the city from France, thus the title French Connection. It's solid. I think it's a tad overrated. That's why it's not in my top 5, but it does make the top 10. It's number 6. Now we're breaking into the top 5. These are my favorite 5 films of that year. We're going to go with Dirty Harry, the quintessential Clint Eastwood role. Harry Callahan, San Francisco cop. He's trying to catch a sniper who was running loose on the streets of San Francisco. He kidnaps a school bus full of children. He's sniping people from all these areas. A terrific bad guy played by Chris Robinson. So, who else is in there? Harry Guardino is the partner of Clint. Solid movie, one of his best. Dirty Harry. Then we go to number 4. Clockwork Orange, Stanley Kubrick's vision of the violent future ahead of us, and he's not far wrong. This is a masterpiece as far as technique and style. Tough subject matter, not one that everybody's going to really embrace, but for its time, it was an eye-opening film. Some absolutely torturous scenes to watch as well. Too violent for most, but you have to recognize it for what it is. 1971's 4th best picture in my book, A Clockwork Orange. Number 3 is a personal favorite. That's Harold and Maude. This is directed by Hal Ashby, stars the great Ruth Gordon and Bud Cort. Ruth plays an 80-year-old, Bud's a 20-year-old. It's an offbeat love story. These two meet, believe it or not, going to strangers' funerals. They don't even know the people they're going to. They're so lonely and looking for some kind of attachment. They go, they strike up a friendship, and it goes on from there. Real cool stuff here. Different than any movie we've ever seen. Number 2 is Carnal Knowledge. Any movie with Jack Nicholson, of course, is going to get high marks from me. This has also co-stars Anne Margaret, Art Garfunkel, Candice Bergen, Rita Moreno. One of Jack's best. He plays a womanizing cad who doesn't really respect women, thinks of them as sex objects, and directed by Mike Nichols. I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it, but it's one for the ages. It takes place, of course, during this early 70s sexual revolution. Free love, anything goes. Anne Margaret plays the perfect sex kitten here, and Jack in his womanizing best. Number 1 is The Last Picture Show, directed by Peter Bogdanovich. This is a great coming-of-age story set in the early 50s in this dying Texas town, sort of a Dust Bowl-y kind of town with a theater that's closed, The Last Picture Show. The kids are just graduating high school. You got Jeff Bridges, Timothy Bottoms, Sybil Shepherd, Randy Quaid. They're all looking for their next thing to do, and it's probably not going to be in that town. This movie focuses on that period between high school and adulthood, and where do we go from here? Some people take longer to find themselves. The adults that they have in this town are lonely and frustrated and sad they stayed. So the young people really want to get out and about and see what's in the real world. Love the movie. It's kind of bleak and depressing, but beautifully shot, black and white. Bogdanovich's first movie as director. A classic. I think it's perfect. So 10 out of 10, 5 stars, however you want to rank it. Peter Bogdanovich's The Last Picture Show, my best movie of 1971. It did get nominated, lost out to The French Connection that year. So that takes care of the list. If there's any pictures from that year that I missed, let me know in the comments below. I just wanted to make another video from 1971, the 50th anniversary. I did the music, now we're doing the movies. Maybe we'll do sports next.